Welcome back, everybody. Now, we're going to see if this works this time and if you can hear me. Now, of course, Google Hangouts is gone, so we've had a lot of problems here. And now I know you're looking at my Nerdrotic background picture, but now you can see me. Just playing with things right now. Why not play with some stuff? So, hey, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me now. I think I fixed the audio problem. I guess the picture was fine, which is a first on this one. So we'll have to see. It looks like stream health is good. All right. So I'll just see what you guys say in the chat, and we'll go from there. Disabled Llama says, uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. He boomered it. Yeah, boomered. Hey, what's up, everybody? How are you? So a lot of people have come back, and that's good because I've had to restart this a couple times after a couple of tests. Yes. Sound is good, Gary. Yay. Hail. So as long as the picture holds up and the sound holds up, we are all good. My new computer is on the way, so the old Mac will just have to hang in there for a little bit. So, hey, Russian bots, Red Dawn, more like Red Dwarf. LOL, Sadukar, 7th Legion. And we have Avenger 2, John Ridges, Mir, Mark the Infinitely Tired. Well, isn't that chronic fatigue syndrome? Yeah, my first wife had that. Yeah. Gamers of Wars X, what's going on? Cracklin, how are you? Psychodorf 9. And Larry, Spock 128, Ricky Kipfer, Lloyd Watson, Arisaka, and Cardinalson. So, and Chris Persia and his wrench. You know what? I wish there was a key where I could click on and I can see because it tells you up top who is participating in the chat right here. It says participants. It would be great. Here we go. What's this right there? No, that's just a manage moderators. If they could show me what moderators were in here, I could thank them all. I think that's a great idea, YouTube. You should check that out. Christy Miller's here. Chris Persia. Matthew Matson was here. I don't know if he came back, after a third time. Can you blame him? So I'm going to read off some super chats. Sorry for repeated information here, or you're going to hear some repeated stuff. Just got off a plane a little bit ago. Boomered a couple things. Boomered a video that I didn't mean to. So remember, if you listen to it, just crank that volume up, please. Because there's nothing I can do about it now. It's got, closing in on 40,000 views. I can't delete it. That'd be crazy. So I've got about 9 videos to make. And because Star Trek Las Vegas was, the event itself was not that great. The people there were great. The Star Trek fans were great. And I got a better grasp of disco fans. There's a divide within the divide. So you got to say that the people who would pay hundreds to thousands of dollars to go to Star Trek Las Vegas, they're pretty hardcore Star Trek fans. Now, they might be new hardcore Star Trek fans, but they're hardcore Star Trek fans. To make that trip, to cosplay. So within disco, there is a divide. There is, oh my God, we love disco. And then there's, I just want to support Star Trek. And to repeat what I said on the live stream that got cut off last night, my good friend Chris, who I met on the floor at the convention, great guy from the UK, greetings if you're here, said, I want to support Star Trek, but I don't want to enable Star Trek. And that's pretty much what Doomcock and I were saying on the Inquisition last night. That's what we've been saying all along is, without respect, we reject. Do not support things that insult you, that as a human being, by the way. When a TV show takes political sides, but they still want to take your money, that's basically making a punk out of you and me. If we just go, it's Star Trek. It has the right letters in the right order that, form those two words that make a title of a show that I used to like. But this thing I'm seeing, it's flashy. It's got lots of explosions and it's nothing like what I loved for years. And you see how much Star Trek Discovery does not fit into Star Trek when you go to the convention and you see the the things right next to each other. And this isn't even modern. Okay, we're 10 years in. We're 10 years into JJ Trek, and Alex Kurtzman just copied JJ Trek. Maybe if they came out with a new aesthetic instead of just bringing in all the JJ Trek people, it was everything was done half-ass, willy-nilly, and without respect to the fandom. A lot like Game of Thrones Season 8. They took you for granted. They just want your money. Shut up and give us your money. That's all they want, because they want to fund Star Trek. That's for people who don't like Star Trek using people who love Star Trek. So let's get to some of the super chats that were from the event. I'm sorry, I said this in the last live stream that went down because my audio was bad. I apologize. But Josh Mack for $20 said, Gary, you are the punk rock Gandalf of nerddom. We will follow. That's awesome. I love hearing that. Following me. I like that you listen. Follow yourself. We are a loose collective of individuals united in the principle of respecting the fan and making entertainment for everybody. And in this day and age where they actually think they're making it for everybody, they've made some, it's not black and white. They've made some progress in some stuff, and they've digressed in a lot of things, especially it's just superficial. Everything, and it's Hollywood, okay? I mean, I understand that. But we've gone backwards in society, and this happens from time to time. It's history is not this just long progression. All right, there's times where we go backwards, and we're divided more than ever. And because entertainment has decided to take sides in this argument instead of remaining neutral and trying to just be the best thing entertainment can do is try to bring people together as much as it can. And nerddom did that for many, many years. And then it got big. And then a lot of people got involved who really don't have, I hate to say it, the core values of nerddom, which is pretty acceptable. We're just geeks about our show. We really don't want to hear about real world stuff if it's not an analogy with aliens and Doctor Who or Star Trek. And certainly we want to be forward thinking. That's what sci-fi is really good for. But there's other mediums that's not great, especially superheroes. And when it comes to just normal family superheroes, I mean, you could certainly do the edgelord stuff like The Boys. And in fantasy is supposed to be allegory. I was discussing with Nerdrotic Jr. today, Tolkien's inspirations from, World War I. And he had other inspirations, but he was, pelting me with questions like, where did he get the hobbits from? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe from gnomes? I have no idea. I'll have to look it up. But we talked about the Dead Marshes, and that came from the Battle of, I think it's called Somme, Somme. Let me see. Yes, the Battle of Somme, which Tolkien did participate in, where lots of people died. Lots. Yeah, so it was interesting to talk to people. It was interesting. It was really weird to get pulled aside a lot and say I love your channel and shake your hand and got everybody's name, and it was a lot. It was surprising and very cool and humbling. And Mecca got stopped a lot too, and it was really great meeting those guys. I saw Tom in the airport briefly. I hope he made it home safe. I hope Tom made it home safe. I had the shortest flight. My flight was like an hour. And my son missed his bus, though. My son was, there's this like really cheap bus you can catch here in California. I think it's some app, and you can ride it for like $40 and get a ride to San Francisco or a ride to Vegas. And, my son's in his early 20s, so he's broke as hell. And of course he missed his bus. So we had to fly him home. Actually, he should be catching a plane right now, 8:55. The plane leaves. So hopefully he made it on the flight because he's walking home if he missed that one. He's got to learn his lesson sometimes, doesn't he? Opinionated Uploads says opinionated shat loads for $2. Thank you, Opinionated Uploads. Cracklin for $1.99. Wish I could be there. And these are super chats from the event. I don't know if you guys, I did live stream it. It's on Nerdrotic Live. I'll get you a link here in a second. That was a lot of fun, but those streams, they suck. I mean, come on. It's just, hey, how's it going? You know, the Millennium Fandom Bar is a very cool place, though. The guy Alex, who runs it, is a very cool dude. And if you are in Las Vegas, make the trip to the Millennium Fandom Bar. They do like cosplay events. I found the place because they were doing Game of Thrones watch parties about 4 years ago. And I saw the episode, The Broken Man, where, the Hound comes back. And then they didn't do the greatest speech of all time, the Broken Man speech, which I might give you guys tonight. It's so good. Captain Spire, Gary, if you happen to see the Star Trek Original Series Bridge console in Captain's Chair, ask if they got it from someone in New York 20 years ago. Stay safe, have fun. I forgot to ask him that, but I was blown away seeing that bridge and seeing it in real life. I'm like, there's very little you have to do to modernize this to make it look good. A talented person could make that thing look good. It was beautiful. I sat there in silence. There was nobody in the room except for Mrs. Nerdrotic and some security guard. And I just sat there, and it was, I felt like I visited like, I don't know, 20 churches when I was in Italy, because there's one like every block. And I felt like I was in one of those big Catholic cathedral churches. It was a moment. It was a beautiful moment. So we have, and again, I'm not going to get to all of them tonight because I have to. I have super chats from the Orville live stream. I have super chats from 3 live streams I have to get together. So we'll get to some today, and then the rest on Wednesday for the Nerdrotic Nooner. I have about 9 videos to make, but we'll talk about some of the subject matter here, including Doctor Who. God, my chair's squeaky. Can you hear that? I've talked about getting a new chair for about 2 years. I think it's time. But the Vegas trip was pretty expensive. Whew. It's a good thing I think I gambled away $40 and I don't drink. So that made Vegas very doable. Oh, and they deliver pot now. So if you're a stoner, man, Vegas, woo, that's for you. They will deliver the sticky icky to your bedroom. I'm like, where the F was that when I was getting stoned? But all the danger from getting stoned is gone. It's gone. Yeah, it's just, it's legal. That takes all the fun out of it, in my opinion. Now, Mark C for $2 asked if I can run Hangouts through OBS, and this was from the live stream on August 2nd. Mark, yes, Hangouts is still alive. It's just not connected to YouTube. So what I plan to do is just run Hangouts through OBS when I do the Inquisition, because I like how it changes the cameras. I don't like having split screens and that. And thanks to everybody for so many people have been giving me great suggestions, and I'm gonna check out some of them. But I don't really think you come to Nerdrotic for production value. It's just a thought. I'm not, I've never really offered it before, especially when it comes to my live streams. I'll probably do something here. Let's try to do something a little funky right now. Let's see if I can get away with this. Dropping frames. How's it looking, everybody? How's the Dr. Weed? How's the picture looking? Does it look okay? But I can do, what can I do? I can capture a window, right? So we can get the chat in here. We can get that. Okay. And then I'll make it thinner. Boop. Like that. And nope, we don't want that. There we go. Oh, it's too big. Hang on. I got to make it smaller. Because when I set this up, I had it on a larger canvas. So we got that. Hey, I'll be right back, folks. Don't worry. Where do we want to put the chat? Right there, maybe? We don't want to cover Q. This is just going to be for a second, but this will be for when I move the live streams that I move over to Nerdrotic Live. I will be able to do this. So there you go. And no, I didn't want to do that. Hang on. Get that up there. And that way we can it's block and queue though. I don't like that. So we go there. So when I eventually start doing daily live streams, which is going to start this week or next week, daily live streams. So we're going to do the Monday, Wednesday, Friday live streams on Nerdrotic, and then we're going to do Tuesday, Thursday on Nerdrotic Live. So I will be live every day, like a radio show. So that was it was great talking to people and getting feedback. That was my favorite part, is getting the feedback, because I got a lot of great suggestions, a lot of crazy ones, but a lot of great ones. And I talked to a lot of people who have never, ever spoken in this chat or left a comment. And they say, I watch you on Roku. I listen to you in the car, like a radio show. And that is cool as hell. That is cool as hell. So it's not moving up. Yeah, it's not. I'm going to get rid of it. It's just, it was just a test. There we go. I see Alien Heads. We're going to have Exozone this Thursday, by the way, I think it's on Doomcock's channel. So we're going to do that, but let's get to a couple of more super chats here. Yeah, I see it's freezing up sometimes, but yeah, we're going to have to put up with that till I get my new machine in a couple of days. Then that won't be a problem at all. When we saw Cruz's butt shot, we saw the best side. That's Demonic Bioman. That was from night before last on a live stream for $2. Thank you, Demonic Bioman. Yes. We're talking about Wilson Cruz. Wilson Cruz came out during a panel with all the doctors. He crashed it, and they asked each doctor what made their Star Trek distinctive. And of course, Wilson Cruz said Star Trek Discovery is distinctive for its diversity. So I'm assuming he was talking about having a gay couple. Well, while that's a first on television on a streaming service that airs on Thursday night at 5:30 p.m. for Star Trek, gay couples have been on television for 20 years. I don't think it's anything groundbreaking. And I don't think it's anything impressive, and it's not something you can just say, well, we made Star Trek gay now, but we don't need to worry about story because we made it gay now. It's like, you still need to worry about story. I'm pretty sure gay people like stories. I'm pretty sure they like character development. I'm pretty sure they're not big fans of, pandering. That's just me. Maybe some are. Svi Lebekin for $4.99. This is from, again, August 3rd. There's a couple live streams that just died after an hour. Stephen Moffat savages Chibnall Doctor Who on Pertwee Blu-ray extras, unintentionally, I think, making a video about it later today with clips. All right. I didn't get the Pertwee Blu-ray yet. I got to review that one, but I'll check it out. There is a YouTuber out there, and I forgot his name, who savages Chibnall perfectly. Like I could not do it better than this guy. But I forgot his name. I'll find it though. And that's another thing, is I'll be able to run video clips now, not ones that are copyrighted, but I'll be able to, put in a couple things, maybe get my theme song, which was kind of an unintentional thing. The music that you hear in my videos, I never intended that to be like the theme. I just found a song on the YouTube free libraries that said "Beam Me." It's called "Beam Me Up," so I just used it. What the inspiration though is Secure Team 10. I wanted to get something like Secure Team. I love Secure Team 10's. I love his theme so much. Oh, dog it! Hang on. There we go. Eric K for $2. Gary, do not forget Star Trek Next Generation had the binaries. Yes, they had the binaries, and we had DAX. They didn't move anything forward at all, Eric K. It's just, and you know it, it's just BS. It's just Wilson Cruz. He dropped like, oh well, DS9 had a overarching theme, and so do we. Again, Star Trek Discovery, the only ground it broke, the only thing that broke was the franchise. Didn't break any ground. It's franchise breaking. So I guess that's what makes it distinctive to me. There we go. And I read those. Did you note? Okay, this is from Unserm for £5, and this is Chris, by the way. Did you note that the Wilson also failed to mention Dr. Bashir's mixed background? Great to meet you today, Chris. That's Chris, who I met on the floor. Great guy. Yes. Dr. Bashir talked about that in the doctor's panel. Like, he's all, nobody mentions that I had boyfriends and girlfriends in my background. Yeah, no, because it doesn't fit the narrative at all. Tyrone Beard. Hail, Gary. The original series had gay actors, not characters, though. That's true. That's true. For $2 Australian. It was announced a few days ago, that HBO Max will be the exclusive streaming platform for Doctor Who from 2005 on. Another blow to consumers. Matt Joseph, we're going to talk about that right now, even though you gave me that super chat on August 3rd. Let me pull up that article. Give me just a mo. I have it bookmarked way the hell down here. Oh, stop. There we go. Here it comes. All right. And let's hope we can not boomer this one as hell. There we go. Okay. And boom. Bum, 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 bum. We're going to get that over there. I didn't have it set up. There. So, the reason Doctor Who got really big in the States was from being on Netflix and David Tennant. It was a combination of things, but one of the major factors was it being on Netflix. And more people have Netflix than have Amazon Prime. So I thought it was a huge mistake for Doctor Who to leave Netflix. They moved to Amazon Prime, but it seemed to make more sense. But that's when the interest started waning. I'm sorry to say. I think Doctor Who was... Listen, so when I was getting people into Doctor Who in my store, at my comic shop, I was playing Doctor Who every day. I would just start at, I was mainly showing the main series, and I'd start at season 1 of 2005, run all the way through it and start over again. And nobody ever complained that I was just playing Doctor Who all the time. I got so many people into the show, and they all were able to catch up on it on Netflix. Now, they moved to Amazon Prime. That was a huge mistake. This is a bigger mistake, but this will probably hasten the end of the Jodie era. I don't know if this is going to go, if Jodie stuff is going to go directly on there or what. I have no idea if this is international. Let's find out. HBO Max is stepping into the world of Time Lords, Sonic Screwdrivers, and the TARDIS. The forthcoming Warner Media streaming platform has acquired the exclusive streaming rights to Doctor Who, with all 11 seasons of the historic BBC series coming to the service upon launch in spring 2020. Well, you can always catch seasons 1 through 6. Seasons 1 through 6 are solid. They're good. I really like Matt Smith's first 2 seasons. I really like them. The first half of season 7 is okay. The 50th anniversary, I loved at the time. There's still many things I love about it, but Clara being in it hurts it. Okay, so BBC series coming to service upon launch in spring 2020. The news comes as part of a deal with the BBC Studios, which means the streamer will be home of future Doctor Who seasons after they air on BBC America. So they're going to get one more season, basically. Under the deal, HBO Max, this probably helps fund any future Doctor Who, to be honest with you. This has probably got something to do with it. Under the deal, HBO Max has also licensed several hundred episodes of multiple other hit BBC shows, namely The Office, Top Gear, Luther, The Honorable Woman, The BBC properties join the ever-growing content library at the streamer, which also includes Friends, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Pretty Little Liars, and a host of HBO properties like The Sopranos, Sex and the City, Veep, and Game of Thrones. Well, it's certainly going to be a player. Having old Top Gear doesn't really help. If it doesn't really help. I don't know if the Doctor Who is one of television's all-time most beloved series on both sides of the pond, and we are happy to be exclusive streaming stewards for the BBC Gem, says Kevin Riley, Chief Content Officer of HBO Max and President of TNT, TBS, and True TV. Another series to further define the high-quality content experience consumers can expect from HBO. So go and consume, you consumers. I hate the word consumers. While there certainly are consumers within fandom, I would say anybody who watches and enjoys Doctor Who Season 11, it can't be for the quality. It's got to be because you agree with the politics. You like, again, those words in a particular order that form the title of a show that you thought you loved. Jodie Whittaker took over as the 13th Doctor, and in 2018, and is set to reprise her role for a second season coming to the BBC and BBC America in 2020. As any Doctor Who fan knows, the iconic TARDIS is bigger on the inside. And it's a good thing because the TARDIS is about to welcome a whole new slew of fans coming to the show through the deal with HBO Max, says Nigel Gaines, interim president of BBC Studios Americas. Because the former president of BBC of the BBC America, I believe, didn't she just get hired on as a CEO under? No, she was she the one who took over the Star Wars? But she just took a huge position either at Warner Brothers or at Star Wars. I can't remember. Under Bad Robot, by the way. So, mind you, HBO Max is AT&T, which is Warner Brothers. So now Bad Reboot is going to have some involvement with Doctor Who. Now, it can be argued that Stephen Moffat is the English J.J. Abrams, and I would agree with that argument. Although Stephen Moffat has done classic things. Stephen Moffat has done good things in the past. Global franchise in addition to some of our most award-winning and game-changing UK dramas and comedies. In addition, the deal also includes new titles, Pure Trigonometry, Stathlets Flats, oh, these just roll off the tongue, Home, and Ghosts, which will all stream exclusively on the platform upon its launch. In terms of perspective, original programming, the HBO Max slate is thus far headlined by a Gossip Girl sequel series set 8 years after the original. Oh boy. And Dune: The Sisterhood. Oh God. Sorry, Dune fans. I'm sure there's a sisterhood in Dune. I know jack squat about Dune, but it's just, this is what they lead with. It's like, we haven't really given the Dune fans anything, so let's give them the sisterhood because, why don't we just call everything the sisterhood? It's, you know what? We can call, everything should be titled the Sisterhood of the Resistance. If we name every show the Sisterhood of the Resistance, that would cover half the titles for all the new shows, which is based in a world created by Frank Herbert's Dune and Denis Villeneuve. I can never say his last name and I don't care. On board to direct. On the film side, HBO Max has secured production deals with prolific producer Greg Berlanti. He does produce shows. None of them are good or watchable, but he does produce a lot of shows. Reese Witherspoon, Berlanti, will produce an initial 4 movies focused on the young adult space, while Witherspoon's Hello Sunshine will produce at least 2 films. Oh, boy. Good Lord. Yeah. So we're in the middle of the streaming wars, and by the time these streaming services come out, and it's going to be, and they get their feet under them, which takes a couple of years. People will be so sisterhooded to death. Yeah. Oh man. Let me get that off my screen. I'm sorry. Let's get to the chat. Jesus Christ. Superstar. Hang on a second. Hold the phone. I need to... Yeah, I am definitely going to have to... Well, where the hell did they go? Okay, there it is. I'm like, where's my super chat window? There it went. Okay, Disabled Llama. For Australian $2. Spaghetti-O who boomered it. I did. Peter Davison for Australian $5. Did you get a chance to open your post box, please? I just got home, Peter. I haven't been by yet, but I will be by to get it. Thank you. And I know you sent me some. I know it came in, but I just got home and I unpacked and I live streamed because I missed you guys. I did, and I was having so much trouble in Las Vegas. Victoria Gooner for Canadian $5. Thank you, Gary, for the amazing recommendation of The Expanse. I'm on to season 2, episode 5. Oh, that's a good one. And I don't know how this has not been part of my life until now. Hashtag Belters. Season 2, episode 5, Home. Oh, that is the best episode. Enjoy it. Victoria, you are, thanks. Yeah, my pleasure to turn you on to good TV because there's so little of it right now. Daryl Rayner for $4.99. Nerdrotic is awesome, even with momentary technical difficulties. You got that in there twice. Daryl Rayner, I will read it again. Nerdrotic is awesome, even with momentary technical difficulties. Yeah, it's kind of surprising. I don't have more. I was looking at my video count. I think I produced like 700 video. I mean, nowhere near like Geeks and Gamers or Jeremy at the Quartering and stuff, or even Mecca. They produce a lot of videos a day. I average like one a day, maybe. But I live stream a lot. And I'm surprised I don't have more technical difficulties. So there you go. Mexican Iron Man for $4.99. 9 videos to produce. Holy video production challenges, Batman. To the Infinite Earth Tijuana production. You know what? Infinite Tijuana's. That should be the name of the production company. Video production facility. Exactly. Crisis on Infinite Tijuana's. That's going to be the name of my biography. Silhouetted Animator for $5. The Titan Season 2 trailer is out soon. Just saw the unlisted video. Silhouetted Animator. Also, sorry for being gone so long. I've been extremely busy lately. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Got home safe. I hate flying, and I don't have to get on a plane for a while. But I am going to New York. Well, the next thing we're doing is Silicon Valley Comic-Con, which is in 2 weeks. I'm going there as a trusted member of the media because my press passes were approved. And I found out why. So I want to recommend to all of... I know there's probably a couple of my YouTuber friends listening right now. Hello. Your check mark. Make sure you get your check mark. If you pass 100K, you get that check mark, you're going to get approved. Fan Addicts of Film, $2. I listen to you in the car every day. That's brilliant. And you do good work, my friend. You do. Thank you. Cucumber for Australian $10. G'day, Gary. Have you read Alejandro Jodorowsky's The Incal and the later Metabarons? Great story and great art. That's my opinion. I will check it out. I have not. I will check it out. Thank you. Jody Bowie. What's up, Jody? For $2. We had a gay captain. His name was Jack Harkness. Thank you. So when we get this first gay, first pan, first everything, and nobody talks about Jack Harkness, who was universally loved character, who breaks the narrative every time. And we need to continue breaking the narrative. Mark C, $5, because Cruz seems to forget that that Dax was pansexual. We didn't care because it was about a story, not virtue signaling. Exactly, Mark. Jared White, $10. The first speech censored, the first thought forbidden, the first freedom denied, chains us all irrevocably. This speech was way ahead of its time. It certainly was, my friend. Demonic Bioman, $2. Yeah, read my crew's butt. SC before. Okay, hang on. I'm going to rewind that. Yeah, read my crew's butt super chat before. So here's another. Thanks, man. Yes, that's all right. It gets read twice. Sadokar 7th Legion for 10 pounds. Okay, hey, mate, me. So I was watching old stuff, your Gary Beekler channel, Christmas theme, your wedding, the shop, pretty effing amazing. Love the French thing. You are a handsome bugger. Well, thank you. Thank you. What was the French thing I did? Yeah, I've got videos all over the place. I've got channels that that have like some of my the Grand Guignol stuff. That's what you're talking about, Sadukar. Yes. So there used to be a Grand Guignol theater here in San Francisco called the Thrill Peddlers. Grand Guignol theater is like horror shock theater. It invented horror shock. So it was popular in the early 1900s in France. And recently, Russell had to close it down, which is too bad. But they had a lot of it was a small theater. And they had people, there was like 50 seats in there. And there's people who were under the seats, and when something happened on the stage, they'd poke you in the back and spray stuff on you. It was pretty cool. It was really cool. King Arcurus for $2. You see Taika Waititi's recent tweets to the fans? I did. That's one of the 9 videos. I did. I think part of that is effing with people, but part of it is we're going to get what we're going to get. And without respect, we reject. Just don't enable this stuff anymore. Don't buy it. Well, it's Thor. No, it's not. No, it's not. I rewatched Endgame, or the last part of it in the hotel last night, and it's depressing. It's totally a depressing end, and I think the same way I thought when I was watching it on screen. That battle at the end was an absolute mess. It hit all the right emotional notes, and it's an absolute mess of a movie. And if you watch, some of the CG is brilliant, but it's all dark, and you can see people had mocap suits on. Their heads were too big, and Captain Marvel ruins it. It just ruins it. It does. I can't. You go, oh, here comes the Captain Marvel scene. We need an assist here, Danvers. And then Cap betraying his character at the end. The more I think about it, the more I hate that ending. I hate that ending. So Cap, remember, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, remember what he tells Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark in Homecoming. Essentially, I'm going to paraphrase that if he used, it was a way of getting around with great power comes great responsibility. It's you basically, if you don't use your superpower that you are gifted with to help people all the time, you are guilty of whatever happens to that person if you don't take the action. Steve Rogers, Captain America, would not waste a lifetime of being able to save people until he is unable to, for such a selfish reason. Betrays everything about his character. Steve Rogers is sometimes over idealistic. I understand that. He's quit the government. He's quit that's fine. But he wouldn't quit being a superhero in another. And by the way, he had to go to another dimension and live that life out and then come back to ours according to the Russo's rules. So that is a completely selfish act. And then he hands a shield to a guy with no powers who has a mech suit that was made by the government. It's like, it's not even, it's not even Hammer. Is it Hammer Tech maybe? Loquacious Primate for $5. I think Knock Knock may have been the only great episode of season 10, which felt like Doctor Who. It had some great Capaldi acting and good rewatch value. I'll agree with you a little bit on that one. 10 is forgettable, Loquacious Primate. Season Season 8 had 2 solid Capaldi episodes. It had Flatliners, which was written by Jamie Matheson, and it had Mummy on the Orient Express, which was written by Jamie Matheson, who should be writing for Doctor Who when they won't. Doctor Who's done. I could only imagine what the next Doctor is going to be. Loquacious. And you know what I'm talking about. Jupite 8, is it Jupit or Jupite? Or Jupite? I don't know. It's like Jupiter, but without the R. Jupiter 1888 for Australian $10. Did you notice the Star Wars story had some similarities to the Doctor Who episode Curse of the Palladian 3 years before Star Wars, Darth Vader type character and Federation, etc. Yes. Star Wars has a lot of similarities to a lot of things, including Lord of the Rings, elements of Marvel Comics, elements of Doctor Who, elements of Kurosawa films. It's a mishmash, and that's okay, and that's all right, because it made itself unique. But that's, Indiana Jones was just a ripoff of all the Saturday morning serials, and it turned out okay. But yeah, Sadokar 7th Legion, £5. Let's be clear. Pay to watch is a BBC thing. I paid no choice. It is rubbish. As they hide best stuff behind the paywall, we have to pay twice. Yes, so don't. Believe me, sailing the high seas is just going to... There's no way to stop it. There's no way to stop it. Every time they try to stop it, people get around it. And that's why digital comics will never take off. That's the biggest reason why digital comics won't take off, because comic fans aren't on the top of the nerd pyramid as far as finances. Comic fans are generally early 20s now. It's aging out a little bit, and it's just easier for them to sail the high seas. Unfortunately, that's killing comics. But when you have comics that are $4, and they suck, and it's 24 pages of suck, Rational Muscle for $10. Gary, just watched my first Doctor Who episode, chose Vincent and the Doctor. Really touching and witty. Can you give a recommendation on where to start with Doctor Who, beginning or more modern episodes? Thanks. Yes, my recommendation is start with the 2005 series, go through seasons 1 through, go to the 50th anniversary episode. And if you like that all the way through, then go and start at the 3rd Doctor, work your way up. You like that all the way through, then go try to find what you can of the 1st and 2nd Doctor. I know some UK fans are probably cringing hearing that, but hear me out. We want to make Doctor Who fans, and Americans have this weird. I'm just assuming you're American. Have a aversion to black and white, and we didn't grow up with that type of TV, so it takes a while to warm up to it. But once you do, you really appreciate the 1st and 2nd Doctor. You do. They're brilliant. But sometimes at first sight, they can scare you away because the production value is so low and it's so long ago. So start with the modern stuff, then go to the 3rd. John Pertwee is a great place to start. And you get Pertwee and Baker right after each other, which is... it's just brilliant. It's brilliant in every way. But enjoy the hell out of it. Doctor Who is a beautiful show, and it's everything I like. It's a mix of everything, and it's firmly, Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker is firmly planted in that universe, and it's like a place I want to live. It is. It's crazy. It's dangerous. It's bureaucratic, and I love it. And it's very British. And that's why I like it, because it's very British. And, you've been a little kooky lately, but I love the UK. I love my Brits. Not all of you. The ones who here, you're spot on. Don't worry about it. Welcome home, Gary. Happy birthday. Good luck. Glad you're back. Oh, thanks, Mary, for $2. So, here in the Nerdrotic household, we celebrate birthday paloozas. So we just party. We do stuff for the kids and the wife and myself all month. So the month of your birthday, it's not just like one day. We do a bunch of little stuff all for the entire month. That's how we celebrate things here. And it's my birthday palooza. The actual birthday is about, what's the date? 2 weeks off. 2 weeks off. And I'm going to be 50. Jesus Christ. Captain Spire, $10. With new creators overtly telling fans to FK off, and I know what you're saying, the lore means nothing to them, and the heck with canon. We really need to see the total fall of all we know and love before this stops. Unfortunately, yes. We're just going to have to make new stuff. We're going to have to make our own stuff. And honestly, comic books is ahead. Again, comic books is the precursor of everything. It's almost like the punk rock. It's the underground indie scene of entertainment right now. It wasn't always that way, but it is. And what's happening to entertainment right now is very similar to what happened to the music industry. It wasn't long ago, folks, that the music industry was bigger than the television industry. It was arguably, I would say it was bigger than films. People wanted to be rock stars more than they wanted to be movie stars. So the music industry used to be the most important industry. We had bands selling out stadiums in the 70s, and it was a real art. We had concept albums. There was experimentation going on like no other in any form of art and music. But music is now, because of Napster and them not reacting to it, and because of greed, music is just now, it's trash. There's still some good stuff out there, but it's not the go-to now. And what's happened is that music has lost a lot of talented people who have decided to use their talent on other things. And music is now basically just a hobby. Maybe it belongs that way. It had its time, but it's a long way off. Same thing's going to happen in entertainment. It's not going to go anywhere. It's always going to be around, but its relevance is what. So when we say Star Wars is dead, Star Trek is dead, Doctor Who is dead, it doesn't mean it's literally dead. It means its relevance is dead. Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who used to matter, used to mean something in entertainment. Now they are just the Transformers. They're the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're just Fast and Furious. They're just another franchise. That's all they are. And it will get worse. And nobody goes to Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who to just be another franchise. Nobody buys those franchises for billions of dollars to be another franchise, but they made them that way. And it's tantamount to selling out in rock and roll and in rock and music and everything. So it's very similar. Yes, it has to be destroyed before it stops. It needs an independent movement. We need somebody, for one, where this starts, where it needs to start, is we need comedians to start mocking this shit left and right. And we do have some out there actually doing it. Now, you might not agree with them politically, but Steven Crowder is probably one of the edgiest comedians on YouTube right now. If you go and look at his stuff, you might not agree with him politically, but you can't deny that he is pushing some boundaries, pushing some stuff to the absolute limit. And that needs to happen. That needs to keep happening. I was very fortunate enough to be on a live stream with Jeremy and Quarter Black Garrett from the Steven Crowder Show. Quarter Black Garrett is the engineer on the Steven Crowder Show. He's a Phantom Menace member. He's one of us. The Phantom Menace, it's for Star Wars, but I mean, it's just a term it's just a name I use for all of us. We have the Star Trek wing and the Doctor Who wing and the, Warhammer 40K wing, and you know what I mean? Mighty Balzac for Australian $2. Any thoughts on Preacher? It's a love-hate. I really loved season 1, but I loved it for Cassidy. I'm forgetting his name now. I think he's kind of miscast as Jesse. I think he's a good actor. I think he would be great as you recast him as Iron Man. That'd be awesome. Nobody's going to be as great as Robert Downey Jr. But I firmly believe that you should recast your superheroes, treat them like Bond, instead of killing them off. Again, I watched the end of Endgame, and it just, yes, right when Tony died, the MCU died. It died. Again, people go, oh, it's not dead. It's making billions of dollars. No, its relevance died, and that takes a couple years to happen. I'll use another music analogy for you. Metallica. Metallica for a little while, was a great band. Was a groundbreaking band. What they did in music was they brought together the Hessians, the metalheads, and the punk rockers, and the freaking skinheads. They all, and it turned it into hardcore, and brought all these factions together that hated each other. And I remember it happening. I remember I was in my continuation high school, okay, because this is the second high school I was in. I was kicked out of my first one. And I brought my boombox out, and Master of Puppets had just come out. And I put in my little cassette tape of Master and Puppets, and people freaking hated me in this school. All right. I was just trying to work out. I was 16. So I was a little punk rocker. I didn't have any money. Right. So I made all my own shit. I drew subhuman stuff on my jackets, and it looked pretty bad for a while. So I like to wear a beret when my mohawk wasn't up, because I didn't want to hairspray my mohawk every day. So I let it go down. I wear a beret, and I remember seeing writing on the board calling me a poser Rambo punk and all this other shit. Whatever, fuck it. You got to go through that. All right, that's part of the ritual. But I remember I brought my boombox out and I played Master of Puppets, and then all of a sudden, like, all the metalheads, believe me, all the losers went to continuation school, and none of them had heard it, and we all started hanging out. We were like, bumming cigarettes off each other, and by the end of the day, we were all best buds, listening to Metallica. So Metallica used to matter. They didn't make any videos. They were cool for a while. Then Cliff died, which was very unfortunate. And they did And Justice for All, which is an album I like. But they were on the rise. They became the biggest. I mean, this little hardcore band became for a little while, the biggest band in the world. But then the Black Album came out. And now that was their best-selling album. Everybody loved it except for hardcore Metallica fans. They freaking hated it. They hated it. And they peaked. Now they're still around. They still sell places out. People still love them, but it's for, it's for Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice for All, and Garage Days. It ain't for Black, Load. I mean, they've made some other later albums that were kind of a throwback that were pretty decent, but they were never, ever going to be what they were before. Things peak, things die, but when they peak, people, that's usually when you lose the hardcore fan base. And when you lose that hardcore fan base, it stops being Metallica. They cut their hair and they do all kinds of crazy shit, and they try to get relevant again. And then they just decide to play their old shit on tour, and it makes them a lot of money. Well, that's what the MCU just did. The Endgame was their Black Album. So it's their biggest selling album. It's more popular than ever. What do you mean this shit's dead? You're crazy. Talk to me in a couple of years. Happens to absolutely everything in entertainment. It's the only thing. It's the only thing that is finite. Is you will fail eventually. That's it. And they're doing it now. And MCU didn't have to. They didn't have to. But I feel like they held out as long as they could with the political and SJW shit. And now they're like, okay, we can't hold out anymore. And it's like the dam bursting, Adam Child, $5. SJW should remake Blank Man and Meteor Man, politically free diversity heroes before Black Panther, who have forgotten to time. Bring them back. I don't want, I know you're joking there, Adam, but don't bring anything back. I don't want anything brought back or remade in 2019 or 2020. The news broke, we broke it. Doomcock broke it on his channel. I was there. That Alex Kurtzman is doing a David Bowie TV series called The Man Who Fell to Earth. Now, he's doing that while he's doing Star Trek, or maybe he's doing, I don't know, but he's desecrating all this talk of music. One of the greatest artists, musical artists who have ever lived. Love or hate David Bowie, he had no equal, ever. Never will. God, we lost him and Prince like right after each other. Prince was all right. I like Prince. Prince was cool. David Bowie, I mean, they're both up there. Prince's musicianship was freaking brilliant. Gotham Knight, $2. Why did you delete your Star Trek Las Vegas stream? I moved it to Nerdrotic Live. So it's over there. I think last night I still got to upload, but here, let me give you guys the link. Hang on a second. And I'll get to the chat here. When I do, the only streams that stay on the channel are the Nerdrotic Nooners and the Inquisition, and it depends on the Friday night episode. I have to really be careful of the algorithm. So if the algorithm isn't, it just depends. It depends on. Generally, I'll keep it on the channel if it's around 2 hours, because people will watch that. I do pretty well on the 2 hour live streams. Goes over 2 hours, it gets iffy. So I'll move it to Nerdrotic Live. So please subscribe to Nerdrotic Live, because that's where all the fun stuff goes. Where I don't have to worry about the algorithm, and it's my backup channel. So there you go, Nerdrotic Live. Hey, we passed 10,000 subs on Nerdrotic Live. Hey, that's cool. Right on. I just noticed that. Right on. Thanks, everybody. And we have 111 or 11 on Nerdrotic. So that's pretty cool too, especially since I've been traveling and not producing jack squat. So you will be getting like 3 videos a day for the next week. I have some making up to do. And some of the videos might be out of date, but it's just, I need to vent. I am going to mix in some good stuff. I have an Orville video I'm working on that, of course, I hope you watch it and share it, because it's done completely out of love. And it's that video that a bunch of people from the early days of my channel go, why don't you do anything positive? Well, I do. I think it's very positive to speak truth to power, though. And I think it's very positive to try to fight this nonsense, because the access media, the people who are supposed to be giving you information, by the way, even if it is entertainment, they're supposed to be they're supposed to have your back. Nobody has your back. So I will keep doing that until I'm done or the battle's done, and then we can review old Doctor Who episodes and do live streams about top 10 favorite 80s movies or something. Sure. Why not? I will do a live stream. When the battle's over, I will do a live stream, and I will tell you where I purchased every single one of these action figures. That's what we'll do. When the battle's over, then I'll say goodnight, Gracie. Inverse for a $1 donation and then a $2 donation. Thank you, Inverse. I greatly appreciate it. And those came 12 minutes ago. I'm starting to catch up. And then I'm going to get to some older super chats. Charles, $5. Met at Star Trek Las Vegas, and it was a weird crowd. Lots of people comped shirts and tickets by CBS, I think. Lots of CBS-type people were there snooping around. Charles, there were. I know this for a fact. CBS was there. Yes, there was some some of the cosplayers were paid to be there, because they came on stage and they were introducing people. So yes, some people were paid to be there. The crowd, my best estimate, and I'm not an expert on this, 4,000, 4,500 for Star Trek. Farscape can get 4,000 people at a convention. So it's not impressive. Serenity can get 4,000 people at a convention. I think the Orville right now could get 4,000, 5,000 people at a convention. By the way, I'm serious about that. I want somebody to start an Orville convention. I will do my part in shouting it out. I would probably be the worst person in the world to organize it, I'm not into that. It would get money gets involved and bleh, no thanks. But I will certainly shout it out if somebody, but the company that did the Star Trek convention, they just look like the kind of company that does conventions, if you know what I'm saying. Just, $90 for autographs. You know what I want from the first Orville convention? Free autographs. Do not charge for autographs. Make the cast accessible just for the first couple years. Certainly these people need to make their money. Okay. I don't begrudge them charging for autographs. Some of it was excessive. Wilson Cruz, $60 for a Wilson Cruz autograph. Are you effing kidding me? $90 for a picture with John Delancey on 10 forward? Sure. No problem. Done. Did it. $200 for Shatner? Yes. I'd have probably paid more, to be honest with you. He's getting up there. He looked great. Yeah, there certainly were, Charles. Rowan Mangian for Australian $2.99. Glad you... Gary, did you see EVS's video about DC Comics? Not yet. I am actually not caught up on everybody's videos yet. And I watch... is EVS making videos again? I know his internet was out. But I watch all of his videos. I watch all of Jesse's and Jeremy's and Jeff's and Anti-Trekkers and Doomcocks and Mechas and Tom and Rob's and Midnight's Edge, Andre over there, SC Reviews, John Talks, Bulls Trek, Mahler, Word of Wolf, Rags, whenever they do stuff. I know I'm missing somebody here. Who am I missing now? Dave Cullen. I catch all their videos, and then, when Proper Jeremy does one, Black Angus Reviews, Drunk 3PO, Mary Mayhem. Check them all out. I do. I watch YouTube first. It's a way more interesting place to be than some of the scripted bullshit that we're getting. Honestly, right now I'm watching old Doctor Who, Lord of the Rings. I'm on a Lord of the Rings kick. I'm on a serious Lord of the Rings kick. I think I've watched Fellowship like 3 times in the last 4 days. So I watched it on the plane. God damn, it's such a good movie. It's such a good movie. And I was thinking about George R. R. Martin subverting the trope of tropes of Tolkien, which he created a lot of stuff, but Tolkien was subverting tropes within his story. It wasn't all about the prince saving the princess, and it was about the chosen one and the king. But there was still a lot of loss in that. And I love that story so much. I feel so lived in. I love that we're not seeing the world at its peak. I think that's cool. I like that. And there's a lot of things I love about it. Lore is great. I love lore. It just jumped on me. Sorry. So yeah, Gotham Knight. Anytime you see one of my live streams they're generally unlisted. They're not deleted. So you keep the link, and I keep it unlisted until I load it onto Nerdrotic Live, and then I make it private. But I guess I got to upload one more, so I'll do that tonight. And they're also on nerdrotic.com. I have a website, nerdrotic.com. You hear my kid before every video going nerdrotic.com. Well, he doesn't sound like that anymore. He sounds more like me now. If he did, it'd be like nerdrotic.com. It doesn't sound the same. It sounds like freaking James Earl Jones. This is Nerdrotic. The crowd was weird, Charles. It was. Adam Child. Star Wars goes Endgame. Time circles open. Yoda, Luke, and every other Jedi enter to fight the dark side. Will be a scene where Rey and women save the Adam, yes. I know you're kidding again, but you know what? How many times have you guys thrown in a joke and it came true about Star Trek Discovery or anything we're watching now? I think I'm going to start making a regular live stream of picking the woke moments and picking woke plot points or feminist plot points in films for the next. As a matter of fact, let's do that New Year's Eve. We'll make that our New Year's Eve show. It'll be Nerdstradamus woke predictions. There we go. TM. Nerdstradamus woke predictions for 2020. I'll get a turban like Johnny Carson, and maybe Doomcock and I can do that show together. Yes. Tim Riggs, $4.99. You should watch the Camp Chaos Napster Bad cartoon live tonight. It's like 2 minutes long and hilarious hit on Metallica. I will, sure. Metallica. This might be unpopular. They weren't wrong. They were getting stolen from, but they needed to work with them. I'll say that they should, instead of shatting on them, they should have worked with them. And when Lars came out, he was an idiot, and Metallica effed themselves badly on that. Napster wasn't going to go away, and if they would have worked with Napster, we'd still have a relevant music industry right now. We would, but now we don't. And look what's happened to entertainment now. It's the same goddamn thing. And it's, things run in cycles, and, people, I'm trying to not sound like an asshole on this. It's because I paid too much attention to this stuff as a kid instead of important things, and thank God it culminated into a YouTube channel for a few years, hopefully. But yeah, how did we become nerds? We paid too much. We paid attention to stuff that people didn't think is important, but we found it important. Now, all of a sudden it's important, now all of a sudden it's important to people. Except it's not that important. And we want it to continue. We are begging for it to continue. And what we are jumping up and down and warning people, that's what we're doing. So they call us trolls, Nazis, racists, whatever. What we're trying to do is help them. It's like, you might not like what we're saying, but we're trying to keep you from burning your house down. But there's a point where we just got to say enough. Tyrone Beard for Australian $2. Hey Gary, thanks for all the vids and streams, mate. You're welcome. I should have put out more. I'm sorry I didn't put out more. I will fix that. What time we got? 9:55. Good. Would you consider a virtual meetup for those who can't fly across the country? Not sure how that would work, but it would be great to meet you. Yeah. I think I still have a Discord. I don't go to it. I'm probably going to shut it completely down. And it won't be completely shut down, but maybe I can use it for that. We can do virtual meetups once in a while. I'm not against that. There's also a couple of streaming services that can hold up to 100 people and we can see each other. But it seems like Discord would be the easiest way. So maybe I'll keep it around for that. Yeah, Crackling for $4.99. Certainly. Yes. I want to meet you guys for sure. Maybe we can do that for Silicon Valley Comic Con. Instead of doing a Bay Area meetup, we do a virtual meetup. Maybe we'll do that. Adam Child for $2. Gary, I'm a Stargate fan. Is it safe from remakes? No. The only thing that's safe is Babylon 5 because of egos and stuff behind the scenes. They will not remake Babylon 5, which makes it completely safe. It will be pure. It will remain pure. That's why I've loved that the MCU hasn't touched the Fantastic Four yet. And they remain pure. Charles for $5. More excited for Lower Decks than Picard. It's definitely a love letter to TNG. That panel was the only bright spot of the weekend, says Charles for $5. I'm sorry, Charles. I am not excited for that show at all. It's partial ripoff of the Orville, a California-class starship. Come on. And I'm not a Rick and Morty fan. Now, I don't hate it, but I'm not a fan. And it's more, I'm sorry. It's more Kurtzman. I don't even know, it probably will be the best thing out of the lot. And if it's a if it's an animated show, and I don't know how old you are, Charles, but animated. Who's that made for? Stoner Star Trek fans? I mean, I don't know who it's made for. I mean, they need to get young now. And you know how you do that? By making good television that kids can watch. If Alex Kurtzman runs on stage or anybody and tells me that kids will be watching Picard or Star Trek Discovery, it just shows they're liars. Kurtzman said they're tracking higher with the younger kids. Show me the data. I'm calling you a liar right now, Alex Kurtzman. You're a fracking liar. Kids are not watching Star Trek. Prove me wrong. Show me some legitimate data from CBS All Access Analytics. You love to counteract our videos, dude. Show me the data right freaking now. I dare you. I dare you to prove me wrong on that. There are no effing kids watching Star Trek because you are making 10-year-old Star Trek. You're making a bad copy of JJ Star Trek, which didn't work. And there were no kids at that convention. And when I mean no kids, it wasn't literally no kids. I mean, there was like, out of the 4,000, 2%, 3% were kids. And that's because they were with their parents in strollers. Did I see a kid in a costume? I think I saw one kid in an original series costume. One. I didn't even see a lot of 20-year-olds there. I saw a hell of a lot of late 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, and 50-year-olds. It was majority 50-year-olds. The actors were the youngest people there. And I'm not even going to tell you what one actor told me. It would sound... No. I can't. It's not that it's super secret. I don't know. I don't want it to sound like shit's going to my head. Because this shit could end tomorrow. I could say something stupid, walk in front of my camera accidentally. Not naked. I mean, that shit's going to happen. It's funny that EVS was talking about his worst nightmare was he was going to leave his camera on and say something stupid or whatever, and then he left his camera on 2 days later. I'm sorry, EVS. It was funny. I hope he didn't say, listen, it's our worst fear. It's like this camera gets turned around because, you never know. You never know. So I just don't want to sound like shit's going to my head, but an actor said something pretty funny, and the fact that it was from an actor from the show is pretty funny. Maybe someday. Tokyo Gaijin for 1,200 yen. New Star Trek Discovery novel Enterprise War sucks. Stop reading halfway. That's why I dropped out of school, kids. Stopped reading halfway through. Worse and more woke than the Next Generation novel. Effing terrible. Do not buy. Avoid at all costs. Why'd you buy it, Tokyo? Don't donate it. Don't let kids watch it. Just throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash. That's what I did when when I burned the Star Trek Discovery video. Oh, can I show you guys that? Hang on. Hang on. Oh yeah, I can't show it with sound. Let's do this. I don't want to get... Hang on. Where is it? All right. We're going to win. We'll capture this VLC video. Where'd you go? It took me a minute to burn this, by the way. I should probably really lower the volume on this one. This is what you should do with the book. Let's get to the fire part. It took a while to get it going, but there you go. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do with Star Trek Discovery. You know? Just burn it. Yeah, that's what you need to do. Yeah, that's from an old video I did long time ago. That's what you should do to the book. Selena Kyle for $1.99. What did you think of the 12 Monkeys series? I loved it. I mostly loved it too. Yeah. It got a little rushed at the ending, but I thought it was pretty damn good. I enjoyed it. Glizner for $10, despite being 100% clueless about it, brought Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide. Thanks. Oh, really? Bought Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide thanks to your enthusiasm. Hope to finish all 5 novels before Halloween, but should I bother getting the 6th? No. Glizner, just, you know what? Read them all. Enjoy them. You'll love them for what they are, hopefully. Definitely, if you enjoy them, check out the radio show, because it originally was a radio show. Captain Spire, $10. The Borg Hugh, played by John Del Arco, is going to portray the Borg as an oppressed culture and will pull from his gay oppression to use in his character. Skrull, Borg, is there some connection there? Yes, absolutely yes. The Borg are going to be, the Borg and probably the Romulans are going to be allegories for immigrants, as the Skrulls were, and Alex Kurtzman got the idea from Brian Fuller, but he also, I'm sure they're going to borrow stuff from Endgame. That's what they do. They borrow from the most popular thing of the time, and they call it their own, and that smug little dude takes credit for other people's work, in my opinion, all the time. Okay, now we have to get to these. These are going to be from, I'm going to try to get to some. I think I read all the ones on the 3rd. So give me just a second here. I'm sorry for the silence here. Okay. Howdy Do It for $2 said, try Big Dogs at North Las Vegas. Great food, no $50 drinks. Oh, I think I read that one. I read that. I did end up reading a lot of these. I'm trying to figure out what those are probably from the Orville ones, though. So we'll get to the rest on Wednesday. I'm sure I missed a few, but I got most of those. So yeah, we'll finish it up. I will collate it on Wednesday. And let's get to, why can't you pop this out? I really hate that. That's interesting, Captain Spire. So yeah, they're going to be borrowing heavily from Endgame. Fred Richards for $5. It was important to us all. It was important to us until they monetized our hobby. Hail from the hive of scum and villainy, Bakersfield, California. Well, say hi to all the meth makers out there for me, Fred. We love Bakersfield. It's close to Kernville. You're not far from giant sequoias, which are beautiful trees. Beautiful trees. Paint the beautiful trees. Trooper Bear, FN 2525 for $5. Shatner should be a recurring character on the Orville as ex-father-in-law Admiral Grayson. Imagine the possibilities for the storytelling. Trooper Bear, that's great. Oh my God, that's great. I certainly hope the Orville is listening to that. I'm serious. They need to get William Shatner on. just for like a cameo. That would be such a win. That would be such a win. Selena Kyle for $1.99. Did you ask Shat about Doomcocker doing an interview? I did not. I didn't have time to. I had time to say hello. I wanted to ask him about the Orville. The Doomcock interview, we are laying off for a little while because what happened was it got some traction. Some people tried to help. And then some of the people who don't like us got involved and kind of scared him off. But he didn't say no forever. He just, I'm paraphrasing this. He said, give me some time. So it's still in the cards, but we just want to kind of let it lay low for a little while and then maybe just do it without any announcement. That'd probably be my best suggestion. So the SJWs and NPCs can't come in and scare him off. Alan Massey for $10. Haven't been on in a while, but I wanted to support you and say, thanks for the boys suggestion. Great show, in my opinion. Shame we won't get more Carl Urban as McCoy. And that is a shame. The cast is what made the 2009 film, which I liked at the time, but what it's brought us is bad. The boys, mixed bag for me, Alan. And it's because I read the comics first. If I hadn't read the comics first, and if it was in isolation, I'd probably love it. The production was great. It did a lot of things great. And I'm happy as hell for my friend Derek. And he's got a season 2. And it looks like it's going to run for a while. And Derek deserves this. He's worked his ass off. But there were some politically motivated decisions that just the shit turns me off now instantly. And I don't know if you know this. I'm not a political person. So I don't want my shows filled with right-wing stuff or like extreme. I'm talking extreme and extreme left-wing stuff. And that's what we're getting. It's extreme left-wing stuff. And there is no middle ground right now. And it's a clear side that is chosen. That happens with anything. I have a problem with it. I have a serious problem with it. And, it's just making things way more divided and it's killing entertainment. And the thing is, they're playing with our goddamn franchises. You want to do this crap in LA Law, I just dated myself, or CSI or some shit. Like, great. Go do it there. Keep it the F out of Star Trek and Star Wars and Marvel Comics. But, we're getting close to A-Force in the MCU. Oh, yeah. I mean, I do want that to happen. I want that to happen in the worst way. Sorry for the delay, but I sent you an email with info about the CBS and handled the Twilight Zone series. Free to open and share on stream if you want. TJ Paris, I will share it on Wednesday. Absolutely. Thank you for the $5 and thank you for the email. Sadokar 7th Legion for £2. Swamp Thing was... the Abby show, not about not about Swamp Thing. Sad. Yeah, that's pretty much how it ended. Now, Abby was a big part of the story. Let's not deny that, but not that big. She was the main character, and we're getting we're getting conned. So even stuff with male leads, even stuff called The Boys, they make a female or the central part of it. Yeah, they were serious about the Time's Up thing. So listen, all female Saving Private Ryan, all female Platoon. I want the next war to be all female and female led. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Thornburn Wilborg for 100 Danish crowns. Thank you very much. Hail Gary, please show STD on the grill. I did. Hail, so I love to hear you say Slotty Bot Fast. Mighty Balzac for Australian $2. Slotty Bot Fast. Dreary Nitpicker for $4.99. Hail Gary, lost my house in the campfire. Been homeless since then. Really? Dreary, that sucks. Since then, I started listening to you and Doomcock and the Phantom Menace. Big help in my rebuilding. Dude, that has been a while. that sucks. I hope your rebuilding is going well, and I hope we bring you any form of pleasure in that, because that really, I remember that fire. That was bad. Was that a year ago now? It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a year. Maybe two. Yeah, we're going to have an all-female, this and that, and that's great.
Now, before I start this video...
There was Josiah. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we are at the end, folks. I got to make videos. I got through these super chats. Thank you very much, and thank you for 11. We had 1,100 watching, 1,169 after restarting the stream twice. You guys are brilliant. Thank you very much. So yes, I need to get to work. I'm very serious about. I have 9 videos to make, and I have to eat. What sucks for Stallone? See, I don't know what's going on. I saw Clownfish had a Clownfish TV had a video on something about Stallone. All female Mr. Mom, yes. All female Lord of the Rings. We joked about it on the Inquisition last night. All these alternate history movies. We're gonna have an all female Beatles called the Sheetles. The Sheetles. I'm just kidding. No, thank you, Bill Smith. I will be back live probably tomorrow on Nerdrotic Live. So remember to subscribe over there. And, of course, on the main channel, the Nerdrotic Nooner returns at noon on Wednesday. We're going to get all those super chats squared up. And we're going to talk about the latest news. And we're going to talk about the future of Nerdrotic, which is very exciting. And future tour dates, because it looks like I'm going to New York for the New York Comic-Con. Because, I got a press pass. So, there. Actually, I'm going to get a second one. So... the Sisterhood of the Boys. Crackling, that is it. Yes. So everybody have a good night. I hope, God, I'm very encouraged that the stream went well. Before I go, though, how was the picture quality? Was it okay? Was it shitty with the OBS? Because I like OBS. It's very easy to use, but it works much better on a PC than it does a Mac. So, this is like therapy, man. It's great. Dude, it's therapy for me. It's therapy for me. Star Trek Recovery. No, stop giving them ideas. I know. I know. Selena Kyle, we were discussing your favorite Marvel team up, and I think Marvel dropped the ball by not teaming up Teenage Spidey and Human Torch. What do you think? I think it'd be great. But you need the Fantastic Four. You need the Fantastic Four. But I thought those are, I love when Spidey teamed up with his two best buds were superhero buds were Daredevil and the Human Torch. So, and they don't do that enough. Do I like the foot? I like both my feet, and I like your feet too, as long as they work. And if they don't work, I still like them. As long as they're clean. That's what I mean. As long as they're clean. Do I like the foot? I don't know what the foot is. OBS is good. Picture is just fine. That's great. Crucible Media TV, thank you very much. Thank you. That is good frackin' news. So until then, everybody, brought to you by OBS. I'm so excited because now I can do some stuff. I can give intros, but don't worry, it will not be major production value. The next thing that's happening is there's action figures going over here. I can't wait. Firestar and Iceman. And the TV show. But, if they did that now, Firestar would be a lesbian. Iceman's obviously gay. And so Spider-Man will be gay too. What the hell? All right. Everybody, have a great night. And I will see you very, very soon. I'll be live again tomorrow on Nerdrotic Live. And be good to each other. And not all who wander are lost.